Scenic mountains, historic places, and beautiful landscapes. These are just some of the things that you'll find while driving Interstate 40 in western North Carolina. Today's trip from Statesville to Asheville is one of the most beautiful on the entire 2,500-mile journey that I-40 takes across the country, especially in the autumn months, which is when this road trip begins. We start our journey today with you in Statesville, just off of exit 154. This exit's the one right before I-40 meets I-77, which has become a haven for major development in the area. In the autumn months, this is filmed in October, millions of people travel both I-40 and I-77 on the way to the Appalachian Mountains to catch glimpses of the autumn colors covering the landscape. In this video, we're going to show you what it's like to drive Interstate 40 into the mountains from the Piedmont of North Carolina during peak fall foliage, so you know what to expect on your next trip out here. Usually, it's a very highly traveled interstate this time of year, but we got lucky and we caught traffic on a good day. Statesville, North Carolina was founded in 1789. It's part of the Charlotte metropolitan area. It has a population of roughly 30,000 people current moment. Let's talk about I-40. This interstate highway travels between Barstow, California and Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a trip that goes for over 2,500 miles through mountains, deserts, grasslands, forests, and coastal plains. As a major U.S. east-west highway, it travels through 8 states in total. In North Carolina alone, the highway stretches for over 400 miles between Wilmington and the Tennessee border near Knoxville. North Carolina currently has over 1,400 miles of interstate highways, which makes it the second largest state-maintained highway system in the country. I guess North Carolina just loves building interstates. If you're going anywhere in the state, you can't get there without traveling on or intersecting Interstate 40. It's the longest interstate highway in the state. I-95, I-77, I-85, I-26, I-73, I-74, and the soon-to-be-built I-87 will all connect with Interstate 40 here in North Carolina. As we leave Statesville and travel through Iredell County, famous for being a major NASCAR hub, as well as the Carolina Balloon Fest, the next major town we'll pass through is Hickory. In fact, on the way to Hickory, we won't pass any other major highways at all other than a few smaller 2-lane state highways. Hickory is in Catawba County. It's known for being a major furniture industry manufacturing hub. Every year, visitors travel from all over the country to view the local showrooms. Catawba County, where Hickory is located, also borders Lake Norman, popular for its boating, fishing, and biking trails. But don't plan on going swimming in the water because it's forbidden due to the amount of bacteria in the lake. When we get into Hickory, we come to the junction with US 321. This US highway is known for being shaped like a fishing hook, ironic since it passes some of the best fishing holes in the western part of the state. US 321 travels between Lenoir City in Tennessee and Hardeeville, South Carolina. In fact, due to its irregular shape on a map, US 321 intersects I-40 on 3 separate occasions, this one in Hickory and then twice more in Tennessee. Once you leave Hickory, you will notice the terrain getting a little more scenic with rolling hills and better views. Since we left Statesville, we've already climbed from 850 feet to 1,200 feet in elevation on our way to Asheville in the Appalachian Mountains. After Hickory, our next major town is going to be Morganton, North Carolina in Burke County. Morganton sits right at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a very popular stop for those traveling to see the fall foliage in the mountains, to fill up both your gas tank and your stomach. In fact, the best Cracker Barrel restaurant that we've ever been to is in Morganton. Burke County is where you'll find the Brown Mountain Lights, which for those who have never heard of them, they're ghostly orbs of light that rise from the forest surrounding Brown Mountain and eerily drift around before disappearing behind the hills. These orbs have been seen since Native American times and sometimes have a blood red hue. They're so prevalent that they even have been investigated by the U.S. government, likely Project Blue Book, and the files of which are probably classified. There are places where you're able to go and see these ghostly orbs of light for yourself. Right here through Morganton is where I-40 intersects with US 64. Before interstates, US 64 was a major east-west national highway. It stretched from the Four Corners in Arizona to Nags Head on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Part of the antiquated US numbered highway system, US 64 runs nearly adjacent to Interstate 40 in most states all the way to the desert southwest. This is the second time we've encountered it on this trip. The first was back in Statesville. We started to encounter a little bit of rain outside of Marion, North Carolina, but you can see on the distance where we're finally getting into views of the earliest edges of the Appalachian Mountains. From Burke County, we've traveled into McDowell County, the county seat of which is Marion, North Carolina. We will pass West Marion, which has a population of about 1,500 people. The surrounding scenery here is noticeably different as we get nearer to Asheville. I-40 also intersects US 221 here. US 221 is a north-south highway that travels between Perry, Florida, near the Gulf Coast, and Lynchburg, Virginia. The part that travels through North Carolina is some of the best and most beautiful mountain scenery in the country. West Marion is known as the gateway to the mountains for adventure seekers and people on the way to the western part of North Carolina. McDowell County is famous for being a part of the state's gold rush in the early 1900s. Since we left Hickory, we've already climbed another 300 feet in elevation. By this time, you may have already had your ears pop, a sensation that occurs due to the pressure outside your head being less than that inside your skull. As the altitude changes, your ears pop to release the pressure. Here is where we entered the Pisgah National Forest. If it hasn't happened yet, your ears will pop by the time you reach Black Mountain. At nearly a half mile in elevation and 800 feet above West Marion, the train takes a sharp increase in just 20 minutes. Black Mountain is known for being one of the most beautiful places in North Carolina. The town of Black Mountain is also famous for its art scene. Located in Buncombe County, just outside of Asheville, its earliest inhabitants were the Cherokee. This entire area had a major impact from Hurricane Helene, and this stretch of Interstate 40 was closed for months due to repairs. You will start to see signage for US 70 here, another formerly major US east-west highway that travels between Holbrook, Arizona and Cape Lookout in North Carolina. Like the infamous Route 66, most of this once major highway has been erased by the interstates, although it is still very popular between New Bern and Atlantic City in North Carolina. US 70 will follow us the rest of the way to Asheville, and as we travel closer, you will notice that most of this terrain will be cut through, mostly back in the 60s. Blasted with dynamite to make room for the interstate. Traffic into Asheville in the fall months can get kind of backed up, but we're fortunate on this day. And alright guys, that ends our journey into Asheville in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Asheville, North Carolina, originally known as Morristown, founded in 1793, famous for being a scenic mountain city in the Blue Ridge Mountains, best known for the Biltmore Estate, and it's a vibrant art scene. Its elevation is 2,134 feet above sea level, which is almost a half a mile. Thanks for joining us. If you're familiar with I-40, let me know what you thought, what's your experience driving on it, which part of the country. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.